Darrell Brooks is the epitome of evil. He is evil in
Another courtroom,
person.
please.
No, we may not.
The community is
Now,
good.
order
The
of the court
people
so
are good.
I think it'd be
The
best for me to
victims
just go
are
into the
good.
other
Mr.
courtroom.
Brooks, I'm talking.
I don't care about you talking.
I don't care what you care about.
I know you don't.
Sit down and be quiet.
Nah.
Everybody has told you that. Stop it.
See, you got it all wrong, Miss Opper.
But does he have it wrong? How's it going, everyone? You're watching Sight Sounds Flavors on YouTube, sightsoundsflavors.com. If at any point in time you like this video, smash that like button. Please subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. Ring the bell for notifications so you won't miss a single video. And by all means, if you have something to say, leave a comment down below. All right, friends, I got to tell you, this video brought a tear to my eye, but a tear of happiness. Seeing Darrell Brooks Jr. beg Judge Darrell to please send him away to the other courtroom because Sue Opper was pressing his proverbial buttons. She got under his skin. She told him, remain seated. Shut your mouth. It's my time to speak. When's the last time you heard Judge Darrell do that? Now, again, I think she did a great job. I give the judge a 97. It's not a 98. It's not a 99. It's not 100, but a 97's an A. Could she have done things a little bit better? Sure. What gets me, friends, are the folks that say that Sue Opper lacks the temperament of a Judge Darrell, would not have done a good job presiding over this trial. And to me, honestly, those are fighting words. I'll get down in the comments with whoever says that. So I don't agree. And that's the beauty of having a channel like Sight Sounds Flavors. You can disagree with me. You can say everything on this video is wrong. And I will be the first one to like that comment and respond in kind, supporting your right to say it. Because it's about like the discourse. But I passionately believe that Sue Opper would have done a phenomenal job. And I think that Judge Darrell did one as well. But I just think that, you know, it's interesting because Darrell Brooks Jr.'s first response to most situations when he is put on the defensive is to be combative. Take a shirt off, throw something, yell, threaten, try to intimidate. It is not to flee. I mean, he asked Judge Darrell to essentially remove him from the court and send him away because he could not process what Sue Opper was saying. Number one, she called him evil. And he's got that Bible in front of him. He's trying to pretend like he's a good person, caught up in a situation at different times during the trial, maybe even potentially innocent, a case of the wrong identity, a case of being at the wrong place at the wrong time. Of course, he had to ditch that theory pretty quickly, but he tried it. So there he is, seated with a face mask, which I believe was a product more of fear than it was of health, because I think the face mask at times allowed him to hide his grimaces, his angry sighs, his evil faces, but at other times, it shielded the world from seeing the fear on his face, because there was plenty of that as well. And I think being called evil, even with the face mask, you could tell that that was making his blood boil. But it's interesting that he didn't initially choose to be combative, instead asked the judge to let him out. To me, that's running away. Now, how many women has Darrell Brooks Jr. run from in his life? Did he run from Erica? Did he run from Dawn? I don't think so. In his life, he would victimize women, not run from them. And while he was able to, at least in one occasion, scare Judge Darrell because she said it herself, this man is staring me down, causing her to stand up, causing her to contemplate whether she was going to eject him, and then ultimately decide that she was going to choose the road of de-escalation by calling for an early lunch. All of that notwithstanding, he was able to scare her, even though he was shackled, even though he was a good 30, 40 feet away from her, even though there was bailiffs everywhere, even though she was on an elevated platform and could make her way to the back of the court even before he cleared the desk he was seated at, he was able to scare her. Sue Opper was a couple arm lengths away, never flinched, told him to shut up, remain seated, called him evil, and said it was her time to talk. She didn't need a bailiff. She didn't need her colleagues. She didn't need to threaten. She didn't need to raise her voice. You got to understand, psychologically, there were a lot of things going on right then and there. And that's why towards the end, once the closings were done, once he was found guilty, he opted to be nice to 2 out of the 3 prosecutors, be nice to the judge, but was nothing but nasty to Sue Opper, saying that she wasn't that good at her job, saying that she wasn't that smart, implying that she did things that were maybe not illegal, but unethical to get the conviction, all of which is patently untrue. But the reality of the matter is that he saved the scorn for her for the very end. I think when he went into the trial, he thought that he was going to be able to torment Erica one last time. And that's why he didn't want to be done with her and said, well, I've got more questions and this and that. And I think that Dawn's testimony was very moving to him. I think that the grandmas, to a certain extent, although I don't really think so, the roommates as well. But I think that at some point in the trial, and please, disagree with me if you'd like, but I think that Sue Opper became the object of his obsession every bit as much as Erica Patterson, at least by the middle, if not towards the end of the trial. I think that he became obsessed with her for completely different reasons, but I think that he did. I think that Sue Opper took up a lot of his time, maybe thinking of how he was going to act around her, what he was going to say, what underhanded comment he could think of, just in the hopes of maybe getting a reaction out of her. And he never did. She didn't care about him. She didn't care what he had to say. She knew what he was, and she said it in the statement provided in this clip, that this was a battle between good and evil, and Darrell Brooks Jr. was the epitome of evil. That's how she saw him. It wasn't something she was saying for the jury. It certainly wasn't something she was saying for the cameras. It's how she truly felt. And he could feel it in how she conducted herself around him. And even though she went out of her way to afford him a lot more than a typical criminal defendant, for example, helping with the witnesses and the order of the witnesses, maybe holding back on some objections. There was many more objections she could have made had she really wanted to sandbag this guy. She didn't do that. But even still, all of that, I don't want to say special treatment, but even after all of that graciousness, she still saw him as the epitome of evil. She still saw it as a job that needed to be done, putting this guy away, giving the family some kind of closure, but at the same time ensuring that he would have no grounds for appeal whatsoever. I think that, if you really want my honest opinion, I think Sue Opper could have done anything. She could have been a defense attorney, which she would not have wanted to do, but she could have been. She could have been the star prosecutor, which she was. Or she could have been the judge. I don't understand this comment that she lacked the temperament. And Judge Darrell had it. I mean, I would vehemently, passionately, zealously disagree with that point. But I invite you to leave your comment down below if you think that Sue would not have been able to make a good judge in this type of case because she lacked the temperament, I guess, that judge. I mean, I'm using the exact quote from the person that left the comment, that Sue Opper lacked the temperament. So I guess Judge Darrell had it. I don't know. I said she did a great job. I give Judge Darrell a 97. I know people are tired of hearing me say I give her a 97, but I've got to reiterate that ad nauseum because I don't want people to think that I don't like Judge Darrell, that I think that she did a bad job. I give her a 97. A 97 is a great score. I'm sorry it's 3 shy of 100, but you only give 100 to a perfect. You don't give a 97 unless, there's grounds for the 97. And to me, there was grounds for the 97. Again, I think that Sue Opper was able to take 15, 16, 17 days of trial and boil it down into 2 sentences. This is a battle between good and evil, and Darrell Brooks Jr. is the epitome of evil. But I think it's very interesting watching the interaction between Darrell Brooks Jr. and Sue Opper because this guy probably never met a woman like her in his entire life, probably never will again. But something tells me that Sue Whopper took up a lot of his time during the trial and will probably take up a lot of his thoughts for the rest of his very long life behind bars. Or will it be a short life? I don't know.